It's the internet. You're busy. Let's do this. Welcome to the GamesBeat Decides podcast. This is the podcast where we decide everything about the world of games so you don't have to think for yourself. I'm your host, Jeffrey Grubb. With me is
Mike Minotti.
I forgot to play the music, but oh well.
Yeah, you tested it and everything.
Yeah, I tested everything. I'll just add it. I'll add it later to the.
We can go again.
No, I don't want to go again. I don't want to. That was a good intro.
Fair.
Otherwise, it'll be worse if I go again. It'll definitely be worse.
It's the same intro you always do. You just pointed more vigorously this time.
And I don't know if I can pull that off again.
Well, all right.
I don't have the energy for it. Today's episode: news, games. A little bit less gloating, but probably still some gloating.
Yeah, actually, I have an announcement there.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I'm very.
Yeah.
Should we just start with that? Should we start there?
Let's do. I am conceding the race.
You know, I don't even know if I got it working. Let me see here.
Come on, be a little humble, Jeff. Wow.
Just a little, just for like 5 seconds.
I just, you know what? It's been a week and I haven't even attempted the runs, and I'm like, I don't really want to do this right now. And maybe someday I'll feel it again, but now I'm playing some other things, and I'm like, that was a lot of time in Astrobot. I think we both ran a good race. There's a lot of back and forth action there.
Yeah.
You got your last time. I was looking, I was like, man, that was actually really good. Like, he got everything pretty much perfectly. Like, maybe I could do that and maybe just keep doing it until I happen to do it faster than him, but I don't know. Don't really want to. So congratulations, sir.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I will say that Zelius, his video, if you watch his video,
I haven't watched that yet.
As soon as I watched that and I started doing what he said on the second big skip there at the end, the one to get up on the cliff, that's where it clicked for me. So
okay,
if you ever get a chance, if you ever get the hunger again, let me know. Yeah. Go watch that video.
We'll see. Maybe I'll feel the urge, but at least for now, I think it's time. We all moved on. And let the memories live. Let the good times keep going. But
I gotta say, I thought this would feel good. I just feel empty. I feel empty. There's nothing left for me out there, Mike.
Well, maybe when Astrobot 2 comes out.
Yeah, there we go. They'll take out the speed runs because they're like, this is unhealthy for these people. We can't.
They'll look specifically at us and be like, they need help.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it was a good time. It was fun, but you're right. I think it's time to move on. And we got like Game of the Year stuff coming up. I should be playing other games. I should finish like Miles Morales and stuff. So.
Oh yeah. Oh, I know a game you should freaking finish. You jerk. Have you beat Ori yet?
I've not beat Ori yet. So
yeah,
you know what?
That.
You've conceded. You're right. That you were very gracious. The least I could do is beat Ori. I agree.
Take a 20th of that time you were spending trying to beat me, a single level, and it finished my favorite game of the decade.
Okay,
how about you do that.
All right, that seems fair.
Second favorite game of the decade. All right, hey, we got a couple super chats.
Yeah,
real quick.
Let's
Georgie,
do that, and I'll do the credits after that.
Yeah, Georgie with $2. He asks you, is it true that the Initiative's game is episodic?
I wouldn't put too much stock in that. I don't know for sure, but I mean, I don't know. Maybe they have to be episodic to fit that fourth A in there, right? Like, it's going to be a quad A studio. I mean, you can't put that into one game. That's a joke. I don't listen.
Is it? I feel like episodic has become passé, right?
Right. It's become passé. It's not.
Like Hitman did do it and then stopped doing it. And like if Hitman didn't make that work with like pretty much a perfect game for it.
This is like one of those things.
Telltale's gone.
It feels like Puddle news, right? Where it's like we don't know much about this game, but we hear the words episodic, and that sets off alarm bells because we're gamers and we can only view something through through what we've experienced before, and we know we don't like episodic gaming. Gosh darn it! So don't do that to a big game. That can't possibly be a big game if it's episodic. Let's just wait and see.
Maybe it'll be episodic in the way that Final Fantasy VII Remake is episodic.
Right, that is episodic, right? And
quote unquote.
Right, yeah. Maybe it's so big that they are approaching it with the idea
3 30-hour games.
Right, exactly. So let's just wait and see. We can judge it once it's here. Once it's here, judge it all you want. Don't get your underwear up in a bunch because of something that we're just hearing as a rumor based on information that may be accurate through one point of view, and we just don't know.
So another one from RDX Master Keith with $7 Canadian says that Microsoft bought Smash.gg and Game Pass teased something big coming at VGA. So I mean, I don't know what Smash.gg could possibly mean, but
I meant to like look into this because I actually don't even know what Smash GG. It's like esports stuff. So I mean, I know that, yeah, Microsoft has something coming to the Game Awards. I know that much.
Well,
I doubt it has something to do with Smash GG though. Maybe. I'll know more.
Esports integration.
I'll know more soon. But thank you for the super chat, Georgie and Keith.
Well, we got one more actually.
Oh,
now.
okay.
Yeah, we got $5 from Nick Turbo. What are your guys' most anticipated games of 2021? Mine are Hitman 3, Resident Evil 8, and of course Mass Effect Legendary Edition.
That's a good list right there. That sounds good to me. I'm a little bit too scared to play many of the Resident Evil games, but the Resident Evil 8 looks like it's gonna be a little bit more actiony. Maybe, I don't know. It's hard to tell.
I don't know. But I thought it was gonna just be a lot like 7. I thought I don't know. Resident Evil not really, but Hitman I'm looking forward to quite a bit. I always, every time I think this, there's like a game I forget and then I remember it and I feel ashamed that I forgot it. But
well, I mean, like Hitman 3 is definitely at the top of my list because it's January, it's coming up front. Even if it was coming at the end of the year, it would be my most anticipated for next year. Just because like I know I want more of that. But I mean, and we don't necessarily know that games like Breath of the Wild 2 or Metroid Prime 4 are going to come. Those would be, those would be up there, but we don't know. But if Metroid Prime 2 or if Metroid Prime 4 or Zelda are coming, I'm looking forward to that stuff.
Has it been enough time yet that like there's a possibility Metroid Prime 4 gets its like re-reveal at Game Awards, or you think it's just we're going to see a bigger Breath of the Wild 2 thing? Be more likely.
I think we have a question about that, so let's do the credits. Okay. We'll talk about that in a little bit.
Yeah, sorry. Yes, you've been dying to get to these credits. Well, we got another super. No, I'm joking. You can do the
no, I just want to get through it. We'll get on. Okay, thank you for joining us. More from me and Mike at GamesBeat.com. Email us games+podcast@venturebeat.com. That's the +sign, or on Twitter at GamesBeat. Thank you to Carlos Ainin, who does our normal theme song, Insane in the Rain music on YouTube. But right now we're using the Christmas theme. I think one of them, either the beginning or end, I still haven't looked it up, comes from Dale North. Thank you, Dale. And if you're listening to this on the website player widget or on YouTube, there's an audio version of the show that you could subscribe to on Google Podcast, Apple Podcast, Spotify, wherever you find podcasts. I looked at the Spotify's doing its end of the year stuff. I looked at that. Like we grew like 1,000% in a bunch of countries. Compared to last year. So it's been a good.
And like at work, you were like, who knows what this is? This is just because of something. And I'm like, Jeff, it's clearly because of your Summer Game Mess thing. You inability to take any credit, weirdo.
I'm a millennial.
Very good job this year.
We were told all through.
You're like, why could we have grown so much? I have no idea, Jeff.
It's hard to take
a mystery.
Yeah, you're right. But it's like
you did a very good job.
We were told our entire childhood that we're special, so it's very hard to accept that anything I'm doing is special. It's like I've grown so skeptical of that it's hard to ever take a compliment. You're right. Mike, should we get to the news? Should we just talk about the big stuff that happened this week?
Yeah, that's it.
All right, let's start with like the one big news story. BioWare. They made some pretty good video games. They've been having a rough spot for a bit. And now the leadership is changing. Casey Hudson and Mark Dara are leaving, and they are essentially the heads of Mass Effect and Dragon Age respectively, and they're taking their exit now. Casey Hudson, made a headlines 3 years ago when he came back to BioWare, and it was sort of like this notion of this is an olive branch to the fans who are worried after games like, I think that this was after Mass Effect Andromeda, I think. And it was like, hey, we're going to get stuff together. And that's why we're bringing in Casey, and we're going to figure out the future, and BioWare is going to be BioWare going forward. And that hasn't panned out because the only other game they really released between now and then was Anthem, which was already in the works.
The Bob Dylan of video games.
Yes. And these guys are leaving. They're putting some other people in charge, and I don't know. What are your thoughts on this?
Well, I mean, it's, you read their blog posts and they both wrote them about how, they make it sound as rosy as possible, right? Like, well, we're moving on and we're just reevaluating where we are with our lives. And we feel like we did what we want to do. We let the company in a very good position. I just find it really hard to believe that everything was great and rosy and that they were happy. And then they're leaving the company right now in the middle of production of Dragon Age and starting production on new Mass Effect and while rebooting Anthem. Like, I don't know. I don't buy it.
Yeah, it's like, it definitely feels like there's more happening there. I've done a little sniffing around. I haven't found much, but like kind of I mean, I think it's obvious to everyone that this was not like, these guys are just like ready for retirement, and it doesn't feel like this was like a long planned transition. It does feel sudden. It does feel like s- some direction change came, whether that was like these guys wanted to try something different and EA said no, or EA came and said, hey, maybe we should change the directions and give a little bit more to people who aren't you guys. And they're just like, well, we have to resign then. We have to retire and get out of here because, we want to we came here to be in charge, or we have been here and we have been in charge. So let's not change things. And it's easy. I think it's easy to read it that way because of the moves they did make as a result of this. Like Christian Daly, who is the head of BioWare Austin, is now in charge of Dragon Age. So, the BioWare Austin guy taking over like one of the two big franchises that are ongoing at BioWare, to me sounds like BioWare Edmonton traditionally been the big studio that like took the lead and was like, they could do no wrong, and they did a couple of wrongs, and they brought in BioWare Austin to sort of clean up after them.
I mean, that was just BioWare at one point, right? Like that was BioWare.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
Austin was made as like the support studio.
Yeah, it was made. It was made to like take over. Yeah, the Old Republic. It was made to like oversee the Old Republic, and they did a really good job of turning that game around. And now they're doing the same thing with Anthem, and we haven't seen the results of that. But I think there's a lot of confidence.
I mean, the same guy's working on Anthem, right? Like you think that would kind of devote a lot of attention, right? The Anthem reboot, which, I mean, you have to wonder if they had conversations like, can we just not reboot Anthem anymore? Yeah. Can we just focus on something else?
Yeah, you wonder like how that decision got made, but I don't know. I guess we'll have to see how it pans out.
You saw too the BioWare Austin guy. What was his name again? You had it.
Christian Daly.
Yeah, no, maybe somebody tweeted. I think it was him. It was like he retweeted somebody made like a picture of Atlas like holding up BioWare or something, and he was like, "Don't make this stuff. It makes me incredibly anxious, and it makes this company feel bad." I'm like, "Oh man, yeah, this doesn't sound like the developer that's feeling great right now."
Right? Yeah. I think I think everyone there's probably feeling pretty unsure, and I think they just want to get a good game out. I bet that's probably what it comes down to, is like the people that are left there are like, hey, let's just focus on Dragon Age. And if Dragon Age 4 is good, most of this stuff will be forgotten and people will forget this like rough patch. And, and BioWare Austin is talented. Like you hear nothing but good things about the people that are there. There's people that, when I was mentioning this on Twitter, like people that know that studio were like, yeah, everyone there is super talented and really great at their jobs. And I think there's just a lot of positivity towards BioWare Austin. And this happens like with a studio like BioWare Edmonton, where you have hit after years, and eventually that burnout kind of takes over the entire studio. I think it happened with DICE a little bit in like Battlefield 5. They just they tried to make the same game again, made it change a few things, but it was mostly the same game again. It's like, okay, Bioware 5 or Battlefield 5 was, it came out, it fizzled. Let's give that studio a little bit more of a break, and instead let's lean on Respawn a little bit more and let them take over some stuff and let them fill in some gaps, and then come back with DICE in a few years. And maybe that's what Bioware Edmonton needs. It's just like a few years to reboot their entire development infrastructure, and this might offer that opportunity.
Yeah, because I mean, right now, really, they're doing work on the remaster of Mass Effect, and then I guess it's just a full steam ahead on new Mass Effect for them, huh?
Right, exactly. And it's like that. I do think that and, I think both of those guys, I think both Mark and Casey in their blog posts said stuff like, 2020 offered us a big opportunity to change the way everyone works and how they approach everything. And maybe there's some subtext there where it's like, after Mass Effect Legendary Edition launches, they will really look at the way they make games and choose a new way of doing things for Mass Effect 4, whatever they end up calling it. So yeah,
it was a Mass Effect 4.
No, Mass Effect 4. I am still gonna try to play Andromeda again. I bet it's fine now that they.
I haven't played a second of it. It would be weird to play it because it's like. It's almost bizarre to me that this game actually exists outside of just like the meme gifs I saw of it looking bad. Like there's a 30-hour game there, actually,
and it's like, and none of those issues were why I didn't like it, and I think I wrote like basically what was a review, but I stopped playing it because I got to a point where I was in, their equivalent of the car, what I can't remember what it's called, and you're trying,
Mako?
yeah, basically, yeah, and you're trying to get up to this waypoint, and the waypoint's like way up there. I'm like, okay, I'm going to drive up to it, and you get to this mountain, and I'm driving all around the mountain trying to figure out how to get up to the waypoint, and there's no way up, and it doesn't like show you like the specific tiny little entrance you're supposed to go in. That's not the waypoint. The waypoint's just the endpoint up there. I'm like, this game is just poorly made. It was just rushed. It sucks, and so I stopped.
As an MMO player, I know that all too well. So.
And I'm just like, I don't have time for this. This isn't fun overall. I mean, the action was actually pretty good, but like, it was just not worth it to like get through that, and I got very frustrated and put it down. So, Mako, I don't know how to say it.
That's what I said, right? Mako. I don't know.
Yeah.
Is it Mako and Energy and some media property? Oh, that's Final Fantasy.
Yeah. Yes. Final. Yeah. And one of them's a shark. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
Who's the shark?
Mako. There's a Mako shark, right?
Oh.
Shut up, Mike. You know what? I'm gonna hit the button.
I thought you meant one of the people in Final Fantasy.
All right.
Like Barrett's not a shark, Jeff. He's a man.
No, Sid is a shark.
Oh, you pushed your button. Great.
Yeah, I did press the button. Yeah, it says "Shut up, Mike" in chat. And it's
Maybe I will
right there on my
it
stream deck. I can
today.
just hit it whenever I want. It's very useful. All right. So number 2, Nintendo Switch update adds Nintendo Switch Online Hub to the home screen of the Switch, and you can now share screenshots with a PC or smartphone directly from the Switch. And
man,
I think sucks actually.
What a novel idea!
Yeah,
putting it on the actual system.
It's yeah.
I mean, there's not much there right now, but it's something. There's the buttons there. Now they can add all kind of things. Maybe someday we can form parties and stuff.
Yeah, it's I feel like I still doubt it. It's like, yeah, it's so weird. Like the Nintendo Switch Online button is there, and you click it, and it's just like, here's some stuff that you could have got to. It's not like it's really new functionality. It's just a quicker shortcut to stuff that was already there. So, I mean, do you think that this suggests that they're gonna add stuff like parties and chat?
I mean, they have to be like, they must be able to get data somewhere and see that. What I suspect that nobody uses the Nintendo Switch Online app on their phones, right?
Right.
Like no one uses that. So like they have to see that and think that's not good.
Okay.
That's bad.
But Mike, like, have you seen how the sharing screenshots from the phone or from the Switch to your phone works? Have you like looked into this at all?
No.
Okay. How do you think it works? Like, could you guess? Like, what do you think it does? Like, if you want, like, you got a screenshot and you want to move it to your phone, what do you think happens?
Well, since there's an app on my phone from Nintendo, I assume you push a button and then you open up the app and the screenshots there.
You're so dumb. Of course, it doesn't work that way. It works by you say you want to share it to your phone, a QR code comes up. You take your phone, you scan the QR code. Your phone deconnects from your Wi-Fi, connects to a Wi-Fi signal created by your Switch, and now those things are connected. And then you click, you scan another QR code, and this attaches your phone to the link so that you could directly download over this direct Wi-Fi connection your images to your phone. It is so bad.
It'd just be better to just make a Twitter account and just post it on there.
Yes,
download it from your phone there.
Yeah,
man. I mean, it's just so. People say all the time, like, what, like, how does Nintendo make Super Mario Odyssey and Breath of the Wild and Smash Bros? It's like this.
Yep.
Like, what's wrong? What's wrong with you?
Well, I cannot believe they did it this way. It makes me so mad.
There's somebody really high up who just has this really bizarre idea of internet stuff there, and somehow like they cannot be overruled.
Yeah, and it's like you can't even really chalk it up to like Japanese culture anymore, because like that was the thing. Like Japanese culture, business culture was behind. Like they stopped like updating stuff in the 90s. They don't know when to use the cloud there. Like Square Enix just announced that they're going to work. Everyone can work from home if they want. If it's possible for them to work from home, they can, and they could choose to do so. And it's like it's their choice. And it's like that is like more advanced than like American companies. And so that's not really Japanese culture anymore. Hang on, kiddo. Why don't you go upstairs and ask Mama for lunch? She's upstairs.
No food for you.
All right, hang on. Go ask Mama for help. All right, I'm gonna have to go help her in a second if she doesn't. If she can't go ask Mama. Hang on.
Oh, great.
Yeah. All right. You know what? I'm gonna go help her. I'll be right back. I'm gonna hit the be right back button. Mike, you can still talk to everybody.
What do I want to talk to them for?
I don't know. Be nice. God.
Oh gosh, just gonna come back and be like, "What were we talking about?" And I'll be like, "I forget. I already forget. What were we talking about?" something about video games. All right. I got my whistle. Let's see if we can play something here.
It's beautiful.
I like all kinds of beer to answer somebody's question. Sometimes I like porters in the winter. I like just kind of an amber during the fall. I like wheat ales quite a bit during spring and summer.
I like seltzers, Bud Light seltzer.
Ew. Of course you do.
I actually don't. It would give me terrible heartburn.
Good.
I would not be able to drink that.
I need another pot. Whoa.
All right. Let's keep moving with the news. We got to make this a short episode today, actually.
What? Your kid's not happy?
Yeah. My wife's like on lunch break. But that's not going to last forever. All right. So people are running emulators on Xbox Series X and S, including PlayStation 2 games. And as far as we can tell, perfectly legal. You gonna do it, Mike?
Maybe. Depends how hard it is. Depends how well it works. It sounds appealing. There's a lot of, especially in my JRPG craze stuff, there's a lot of PlayStation 2 JRPGs that I would like to play, and that seems like a interesting way to do it. Like, yeah. I mean, how do you do it? Like, you have to like boot it up on a flash disk or something?
Right. So it's all right. Like, it's all built into the system. So you have to boot the Xbox into developer mode, which is a one-time $20 fee.
This is already sounding like I'm not going to do it.
Right. So and you could choose to go back and forth between developer mode and regular Xbox mode. But the thing is, once you're in developer mode, like the Xbox side of things is now cut off. You can't like put an Xbox game and play that anymore. So you'd have to go turn the system off and then boot back into the regular mode. I haven't done this because I have a computer upstairs attached to my TV that has all the emulators already on it, so I'm not going to do this. It'd be kind of a waste of time. Sure. But, for people that don't have that option, this seems like the games are running very well, and like the N64 games run well, which can sometimes be a problem. I think stuff up to like Dreamcast are running really well, and then now PlayStation 2, people are finding it works pretty good on S, and it works really good on the X. But yeah, once you're onto your developer mode, you just download the emulators, I think, to like a USB stick or a USB drive. You could connect that, so you don't have to like take up room on your main drive, and it should all just work from that. So
what I really like is something like an Nvidia Shield. Like, do those are those good for emulators?
Yes.
Like, if I got an Nvidia Shield, could I just put like every PlayStation 2 game on?
Not only that, so they're really good for emulators. They're really good. They connect like with your Xbox controllers over Bluetooth. And there's a ton of tutorials on YouTube that are really well done. They can get you set up pretty quickly. So, the Shield's great. Like that, you're right. That would be better because then you don't have to worry about flipping back and forth between your Xbox.
Right. Like if I was going to get into this, I would probably, really get into it.
Yeah, and the Shield's great for that. Absolutely. But yeah, I think this is really cool. If you're interested in this, check out MVG, a modern vintage gamer on YouTube. I've hung out with him a few times on a couple of his shows, and he was on my How Games Make Money a few weeks back. His video on this is very good. He's like the kind of person blowing this up. So and he developed he developed the emulators for the original Xbox when everyone was like cracking that system open. He's the guy that did that. So if you did that back on the original Xbox, you could thank him.
So no luck getting Dolphin running on it yet. Then
I'm not sure.
I mentioned that one.
Yeah, I was gonna say it, but I'm like, actually, I don't want to like that. That one's kind of always on the edge. Cool. But it seems like there would probably be enough power, but I don't know. I would have to like look more. All right. Just a couple of smaller stories. Let's get it. Then we'll go into what we've been playing. Nvidia launched the RTX 3060 Ti for $400. I wrote a kind of a smaller review on this, but basically the big takeaway is the 3080 is really good at like $700. The 3070 was really well positioned at $500, but I think the 3060 Ti at $400 is like if you had to choose and you were worried about saving money, save $100, get the 3060 Ti instead. It's almost as good as the 3070, and it's just fantastic. It's faster than a 2080 Super. at $400, and the 2080 Super was $800. So just huge improvements, generation over generation, in graphics cards happening right now.
Great.
Thank you, Mike. Flight Simulator VR is going to launch as a free update on December 23rd. They said this was coming in December. Now we know when. So it'll be a nice little Christmas surprise. Are you going to get back in there in VR once it's
I think
out?
I'll give it at least a shot. I mean, yeah, something about cockpits just always work in VR. Right? Like Star Wars Squadron in VR was so cool just because like that's really immersive. Like being in a cockpit where you're sitting down in a tight space anyways. It just works really well.
Yeah, exactly. And I kind of like think that being in those cockpits in VR would be a lot easier actually, because you know, you have all those panels, and if you're trying to play like in a more realistic way and you want to actually use all of them, glancing down at the instruments really fast is actually kind of difficult when you're using even a flight stick and stuff.
Because you have to that's one of the annoying things. Like, you have to assign buttons to just like, this is the button to look at this instrument and this one, and it's like, it is. So like, you kind of like, okay, I guess I'll just use this overlay thing that shows me all the things faster. But like, part of the fun of Flight Simulator is the incredible immersion, and when you just have like any HUD elements at all, like sometimes kind of breaks things a little for me.
Yep. And then final piece of news here. This came out this morning. I think this is according to Variety. Oscar Isaac is going to play Solid Snake in a Metal Gear Solid movie. The Metal Gear Solid movie that's sort of been in development for a while now. Yeah. I think this is a great choice. I know he wants to play Solid Snake, and I love everything Oscar Isaac does, so I'm excited about this.
Yeah, I like Metal Gear Solid a lot, so I'm still skeptical this movie's ever going to get made.
Sure.
I kept saying that forever about the Uncharted movie, and now like that movie's been filmed, so I think that's actually happening now, which is still weird to me.
Yep.
But it certainly seems as good a choice as there can be. I'm curious, like, what the direction here is. It just like, are they just doing like the events of Metal Gear Solid 1 as a movie? Is that what?
I don't know. I kind of think
seems like the thing to do.
I think it's the thing to do because it's like, it's a really good setting. It's really like it works really good on film. It's also a lot simpler, and you could like establish a cool vibe, and then if you want to get to the more insane plot elements of Metal Gear after that, if this movie's a success, you can do that.
I hope that the movie comes out as a big hit just so that I could see them try to make a Metal Gear Solid 2 movie, because that would be something to see.
Exactly.
They would cower away from that so fast. They would find any way they could to get around it.
Mike, let's do a couple questions, and then I'm going to ask you about the games you've been playing this week.
Okay.
All right.
You've been playing something, you can't talk about it. What could it be? But
yeah, exactly. So I got nothing to talk about because I'm not going to talk about Astro again, and the other game I've been playing. Yeah, can't talk about it. All right. This is from Donnie. Eat the Hype. Shout out to Donnie. Do you think we will see major news from Nintendo before the end of the year, or are they holding back to kick off 2021 with a nice size direct? I think we might see something at the Game Awards. Maybe not anything too huge, but maybe. I know they've done like a Zelda trailer there before, so I think it's possible.
Well, they have to. It's about time to announce the next Smash Bros. Character. Also, that's got to be coming.
Yes,
right?
yes, yeah. The people have been. Whenever I bring this up, people mention that. I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. So, that's it. That's also a distinct possibility. From
because the first Smash Bros. DLC character was announced at the Game Awards Joker. So
right, yeah. So yeah, exactly. This could fit in really well with that. From Christian Rarg. When is your war? Now that I'm done fighting with Mike, when is your war with Dan Reichert going to end? And who's going to die first while playing Mountain Run for 72 straight hours?
I don't like. See, this kind of felt like, man, trying to diminish me. You have a separate Astro War with somebody else.
Look, you were my Mountain Run rival, and he and then
I wasn't enough for you. I turned into your side piece after all this.
Look, you don't satisfy all my needs, Mike. I'm a man and I have needs.
Wow. All right. Fair enough.
All right, don't call HR, please. From
X, have an issue. We do actually.
I think we might. Yeah. From at XXI Matthias XX. What do you think is more important part of the next gen experience? Or what do you think is the most important part of the next gen experience? I don't know, Mike. You tell me.
Oh, what do I think is the most important part of the next gen experience?
Yeah.
I mean, like, what important part is just games. It always has been. That's the most important part.
I still think, yeah.
I mean, and that's why I think Sony has gotten a lot more enthusiasm immediately, is because they have things like Spider-Man and Demon Souls and even Astro right off the bat that people are really excited about. The controller is still what I have enjoyed the most. The DualSense, and I don't feel like fighting with you over that again right now.
Look,
I'm in a good mood.
It's a good controller, it is, but listen, it really did hurt me. Actually, you know what? You don't have to fight with me.
You played a lot of Astro.
I did. Look, I did, but still, like this part right here is. I broke the controller just now. It's very sharp.
Is great. Keep going.
It's sharp, and so when I was like, oh, it's sharp, and like my finger still hurts. I cannot touch anything with it, or it screams. It's not going to happen to almost anyone else, but it happened to me, so I'm complaining about it.
Fair enough.
How much support do you think Sony and third-party studios will give to the PS4 over the next 2 years? Do you think something like Final Fantasy VII Remake Chapter 2 will be exclusive to PS5?
Yes. I think by the end of 2021, the whole games are coming out of PlayStation 4. I also think is going to did they say Horizon was? I think they said Horizon 2 is coming out PlayStation 4. That's got to be like the last big one, right?
Right. Yeah, and I think like the games that are like deep into development right now probably are still going to come to PS4. It just makes sense because they can't get enough PS5s out there to satisfy demand. But the point is that all the people that matter on PS4, the people that spend a lot of money on games, they want a PS5, and as soon as they can afford one, as soon as they can find one, they will get one. This is what happened between PS3 and PS4 as well. And so as soon as those people can find a PS5, they're going to leave the PS4 behind, and you don't need to support it anymore. So I think by the end of 2021, I think that's a pretty good timeline. I think you're right. Horizon will come out, and then we'll probably stop hearing about like cross-gen games about that point.
And it could happen like if as soon as we start getting some data points, maybe like if Sony releases numbers and it's like, hey, look, this is how many people bought Miles Morales on PlayStation 5 versus PlayStation 4, and like people find out immediately, like, oh, everyone has moved on to PlayStation 5 already, or like is holding off until they get a PlayStation 5 to buy this game. Like then that's gonna stop real quick.
Yes, I agree. Are we finally getting that Metroid Prime trilogy announcement next week at the Game Awards?
Man, I mean. I sure hope so. Like I think about that almost once a week. Like, why can't I play these games on my Switch? Like, why?
I know. I just do it. What is Nintendo's problem sometimes? Just release it. I think it's ready. As far as I understand, it's ready to go whenever. It's like that Pikmin situation, but like even worse. That was from the Fusion guy at AJ the friend. Let's see. Let's do one more. Oh, here's a good one from Willix22. What game do you think deserves a next-gen patch, and why is it SnowRunner? SnowRunner is a good one. Really short load times on SnowRunner would be good. More people to be able to play that game would be good. Yeah, I don't know. Do you have an answer, Mike? Because I would have a hard time thinking of anything else.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know how much it needs next-gen pass, but I've been thinking about Uncharted 4 a lot and how good it is and how, despite being Uncharted 4, I feel like it's underappreciated. So maybe I think
you're right.
Get a next-gen pass just so that more people play it again.
I fully like that game. I played it, and I don't
love that game.
Yeah, I just don't jive with Naughty Dog usually. But that one, I think they did a really good job with like the pacing and everything, keeping you entertained. It's a good game. Yes. Yeah. All right. Well, here, last one. What can we expect from the Switch revision next year? This is from Nico Chanboy. Some people are like saying that the other models will not be able to get Breath of the Wild 2 or the new Pokemon or Nintendo games on like the original systems and only on the Switch revision. That's not going to happen. No way.
I mean, they tried. Remember, they kind of tried to do that with the new 3DS or whatever.
It's always,
like there was 2 games that did that, and they're like, screw
it's
that.
Always a marketing lie. They say that to create like they're trying. It's like that like. Wolf of Wall Street thing, sell you that pen, and you got to create demand, create frenzy. Oh, I need to have this thing because games might come out that I can't play on this thing. I got to get this new thing. Once you bought it, they don't care anymore. It goes away. And it's even if they say that sort of thing, it will be like what you said, 1 or 2 games, and it'll be like the Minecraft version. Minecraft ray tracing will be on the Switch Pro or whatever. But yeah. I'm not too worried.
Okay, well, we got another $7 Canadian from RDX Master Keith.
Thank you, Keith.
They got PlayStation 2 emulation on Series X in just weeks. I don't think PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 3 and 4 are far away. Then you'll see Miles Morales on Series X and S. I don't know about that last bit there, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that last one seems.
But what do I know about emulation?
PlayStation 3 emulation is better than it ever has been. But it's that I don't know. I think that's so rough that it might be difficult to get running on a closed system like that. But I don't know.
I'm just saying, I'm interested in the Sega Saturn emulation making some strides.
Yes, I think I agree. Saturn's a system that I didn't play a lot of at the time, and the emulation on PC is getting better, but it's one of those ones where it's like it takes a lot of work. So, and the big part of emulation is just like getting it all set up and having it all right there, and then kind of not playing the games. But Saturn like throws a wrench in that because it's so difficult. But I would just like to sit down and get it working and enjoy those games for real.
I was a big Saturn fanboy.
I could tell. I knew.
That's why I resented the PlayStation brand for so long, because I blamed it for the death of Saturn and then for the death of Dreamcast.
And
but it was
you
really
should, because they absolutely did kill Sega. They absolutely
yeah, but also because like, Sega was at least with Saturn, like it was Sega's fault.
Yeah, totally. Sega made some buffoon moves, but Sony was right there to like make sure they were kicking in the knife to like really get in there. They really would try to take Sega out, and they did. All right, so what we've been doing. Again, I can't talk about what I've been playing. Come back next week, though.
Man, I didn't even put it in your thing, but I forgot. I reviewed Immortals. Like, that embargo was on Monday. Seems like forever ago.
Yeah, give me your final opinion on that.
Yeah, I mean, it's good. It's fun. I think, the breadth of the that's the risk when you make a game that's very similar to like this other big successful game, is that you welcome comparisons. And do you really want to be compared to Breath of the Wild, one of the best games like ever? It's so it's like it captures that essence in that, like, oh yeah, like this big open world. And you have a good amount of freedom to like do things whenever you want to, in what order. But it doesn't have like that. Like, so much of what made Breath of the Wild great was like how you can get kind of freeform with things, because you had all these weird tools and all these interactions. Like, you could do things like, oh, I'm going to charge this like sword up with lightning and then throw it over there, and then it's going to catch on lightning and kill everybody over there. Or you could like get a tree stump and put it in stasis and then jump on the tree and fly away. There's none of that kind of stuff here.
Mm-hmm.
But in terms of just like having the really satisfying progression, it works fine. The big thing like that was kind of killing it for me a bit is that the game is a comedy, and it tries to be very funny. I don't know what happened to my video feed. Don't
worry, I'm making faces. Everyone's gonna be fine.
Yeah, my Discord shut down for some reason, but you can still hear me.
Yeah, so we can hear you just fine.
I don't know why Discord crashed, but that was so distracting. Yeah, the game tries to be funny, and it's not very funny. I don't like the humor. It's just a lot of like it's like Zeus and Prometheus talking to each other a lot, and like the joke a lot of time is that Zeus is a jerk and like a bad family person. And I hate that.
Yeah,
That's funny.
I think that the writing seems bad. It's
very bad.
It's so try hard and like
it is, and like I hate saying it because like it's such like this word. I feel like it gets used all the time, and often to like marginalize people or something. But it's cringe. It's very cringy. It's cringe. I don't like it.
It's like asking for the laugh instead of like just like letting the joke play, and that never works, right?
And it's constant. It's just it's all the time. But it's funny because like one of the most subjective things ever is humor. I'm back, by the way.
Yeah.
But right, so it's like it's incredible to me. Like when I see some of the people and like aha, I loved the humor in Immortals. Like I thought it was funny. It was great, and I'm like, man, I just different planet. Like,
yeah,
it's more subjective than almost any, like even like gameplay stuff. Like I feel like there's easier common ground. We try to be funny, man. That is just weird.
Yeah, I do think I will play this game. I will. Where'd you play it? You played it
Series X.
Okay.
And it ran great. Looked good. I mean, but it's still like this was the thing that bothered me with Assassin's Creed Odyssey 2 and a lot of Ubisoft games. Like their characters just like everything looks really good, but their characters just animate so weird and awkwardly, and like they just look like plasticky and they don't like they're not doing that work of like animating individual scenes like meticulously or doing face capture or all that stuff that I'm sure is expensive and annoying. But it does make a pretty big difference when you look at, say, the two characters interacting with each other in Assassin's Creed Odyssey versus what they do in Last of Us Part 2 or Red Dead Redemption 2.
Yeah, yes. And I'm playing some stuff that I'm like where the animation's really good, and it really does make Ubisoft games look kind of old in some
Right.
specific ways. So it's not. I don't think that stuff is ever the end of the world for me. I can get over. I can like once I'm into a Ubisoft game, I tend to start to forget about the animation. It's just like this is just this game. That's fine. But I get what you mean there. I just think, I still think that if I can like turn off Zeus, if like, there's a way to like turn off like the audio commentary or the audio track, which maybe there's not, but I think I'll probably end up enjoying this game because I liked what I
Yeah, I
played
mean,
of it in
there's
a preview.
yeah, I mean, it controls really well. It like they even kind of like made the movement for Phoenix like a bit almost more 3D platformy than it is in Zelda, and I like that quite a bit. Like the combat actually feels pretty good. Like the gameplay wise, it's very very solid and fun, and it is like a lot of exploration. The puzzles are usually pretty good, so yeah, it is fun. It is this big game you can kind of run around in. So yeah, it's I think a lot of people are going to like it, but you know, there's all these little things, I guess. Hey, we
Mm-hmm.
got $2 from Case Basis. Thoughts, if any, on Project Mara?
I think that this is that the mental health game, right, from the people that did Hellblade. Is that the name?
Yeah, so Sanua's Sacrifice.
Yeah. Um, I don't know. I want to just see more because I think what we saw was so early. I think the things that they're talking about there are interesting with like really like working with mental health experts to build an entire game. But it's also it's like thin ice. You risk a lot by playing with the like such serious topics, and you
Right.
have to really see them through, and they can't just be set dressing. They can't just be here for our entertainment. Like this, we're just bringing in crazy people to entertain you. Like that's a bad thing. You can't do that. So I hope, and I think that they've shown that they have the capacity to deliver on these promises and really see them through. But I don't ever want to like count those chickens before they hatch, right? So I'm interested, but I want to see more before I like start getting my hopes up or anything. Um, Mike, I think that you have a couple other games, right? Do you want to talk? Do you want to give me your updates on Shadowlands? Because I know that
Yeah,
last week
last time I seemed
you
a little
seemed down.
down on it, but I've been having a lot more fun this last week. The last two, so there's like four main zones you quest through as you're leveling. The last two zones were really good. The third zone was basically just Ori in the Blind Forest. Like, so I loved it. Right, it was great. It was very pretty. It was a lot of fun. Then the last zone was like all vampires, basically. It was basically Bloodborne, I guess, with a little bit of Castlevania in there. So that was good. Now I'm doing end game stuff, and it's been pretty. There's been a lot to do immediately in the end game. It's like the big hook of this expansion is that you have to pick one of the four covenants, and it's almost like picking a subclass of sorts. Like each one gives you two spells, just specific armor you get, and like that area becomes your new hub. So like I got to pick that Ori in the Blind Forest area. So like now that's where
Oh,
I
cool.
get to hang out in the most, right? Yeah, it was like I was like panicking trying to make the choice because I knew I wanted that one. Everyone online said that it was like the skills for it were technically the worst that I could pick for my class, and I was like, I don't care. I just want it anyways, and they might buff and they might nerf things. But then like the vampire one, like I looked at their specific armor that I got, and it's like had like melty wax candles on like the shoulder pads. I was like, oh, that looks kind of cool. Maybe I want that one. So I'm bad at making decisions. I'm non-committal, so even though I knew I wanted the Ori one, it still took me an hour of staring at my computer screen to build up the courage to push that button.
Mm-hmm. Uh,
But yeah,
no, go ahead.
but yeah, so I've been having a lot of fun. I did a little bit of Torghast, which is basically their new roguelike mode. Like it's
Oh,
it's it's
interesting.
literally that. Yeah, so it's like you go through a tower and there's different levels and you come across orbs that give you like, the abilities and you have to pick between one of them. Like, one's like augments your spell. It's basically, it's like Hades or Dead Cells, anything like that. So, right now it's been kind of easy because I've been the lower ones, but there's some potential in that idea. So I hope that kind of fans out well.
That's World of Warcraft Shadowlands. This is something I want to do more often is repeat the names of the games that we were talking about. And before that, you talked about Immortals Phoenix Rising. I almost forgot the name of that game there for a second. So and I didn't, and I haven't talked about any games because I've only been playing Astro and I don't want to bother people with that. Then your Dragon Quest continues, right?
Oh, I beat Dragon Quest 3. I did it.
Right. How now? So where does this fit into your personal ranking?
Man, I tell you what, it was really good.
Huh.
Especially because like part of me was like, oh, I'll play this because like it's a cute curiosity. It was it was an NES game, right? It was good. It like certainly was better than any of the other like 8-bit RPGs I played. And granted, this is a remake one, but so have all the other ones been.
Right.
And I guess when I'm saying that, what I really mean is that I like it more than Final Fantasy 1, 2, or 3. But like, yeah, it was like really big and like relatively fleshed out. It had a class system that was really fun because you can kind of like you could change classes, but then you would lose half of your stats, but you would keep the spells you earned from the other class. So it was like kind of like a good thing to do sometimes. It got nice and challenging towards the end. But like any older JRPG, like especially like the second half, you basically have to play with a guide because there's so
Right.
much more like open ended and like little less clear about what you need to do. Like it's always like you go pick up the orb that's outside the stable, and that random thing is what you need to build a bridge so that you can go to the
Huh.
final tower, like
Okay.
stuff like that, right?
Right.
Like
Yeah.
okay, because but they wanted you to call the Nintendo
Zelda 2.
Tower
Yeah.
hotline or
Yeah.
whatever. Yeah,
Exactly.
that kind but whatever. So you play it with a guide and it's super fun. But yeah, like I enjoyed it quite a bit. Like I may have even liked it more than Dragon Quest 5. Not more than Dragon Quest 11. And
Sure.
those are the three I've beaten so far.
Yeah, but
3,
you're like
11,
you are
5.
like Dragon Quest 11 is like one of your favorite RPGs of the last
Yes,
generation,
Dragon
right?
Quest 11's one of the best JRPGs ever. It's
Okay.
incredible. Dragon Quest 11 is when that I think it's coming to Game Pass. The
You know,
Dragon Quest 11
I played
S
like
and man,
10, 15 hours of that game, and I was really loving it too. I think when I was on when I took my vacation, not my vacation,
oh really?
when I took my parental leave, I played like 10 to 15 hours of that on PC, and I was not like normally what happens is I just get that friction where it's like this game wants me to like to grind or wants me to do a bunch of other stuff, and that's fine for some people. For me, it's like it's pushing me away, and it's not pushing me away in an interesting way where I can push back and like discover something new about the game. Dragon Quest 11 was just kind of like it was like a fun romp, and it's like a good
Yeah.
adventure, and the characters were really great, and it looks amazing
Yeah,
in the
really
Unreal
good,
Engine.
surprisingly good voice acting.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's the thing. Like a lot of Dragon Quest games, and 3 is like this. They're not really very story focused, and but 11 like actually had a pretty good story.
yeah, yeah.
3 was kind of grindy, but I actually kind of like that just because I was, I'm playing these games like at night in bed before I'm going to bed, and I like I'm just gonna do an hour of grinding before I go to sleep, and that makes me happy.
So what's next? What's the next
Dragon
Dragon
Quest
Quest
7.
game? Okay.
7 is next. I got that one loaded up on my 3DS, which I turned it on, and a system update was apparently ready for that. That shocked me.
All right then.
So yeah, 7 is kind of infamous for the original PlayStation anyways. It's very long. It's like the 100-hour long one, and apparently had like a 5-hour introduction where like you don't like battle anything or
Mhm.
apparently this 3DS version sped things up a bit. But it also has another kind of job class system. So I think that'll be it.
Job
8
systems
is the
are good.
one everybody really loves, but 8 was really expensive to get on 3DS right now. So I just went with 7 for now, and we'll play through this, and then maybe I'll get the courage to spend $100 on Dragon Quest 8.
Awesome. All right, we should get out of here. I just want to real quick, like, what are your like plans for the rest of the year? Like games to finish up, to clean up. Do you have like anything that sticks out a lot? I mean, I guess you're gonna play Cyberpunk, but other than that,
Yeah, I'm gonna play Cyberpunk, and I'm gonna try to play a lot more Shadowlands. Play through some Dragon Quest 7. There's still like I still need to play Crusader Kings. What is it,
yeah,
3?
yeah.
Because that I want to try that before Game of the Year stuff. There's a part of me that's like, oh, I should probably go play Last of Us Part 2 and maybe try to finish that. And I'm like, I'll tell you what, I really don't want to.
Mm-hmm.
I really just don't want to. And it's not like, like part of me's like, I must hate that game then. And I'm like, I don't hate that game, but I just don't want to play it. So I guess I don't like that game. Maybe I don't.
It sounds like you
know.
got some stuff to work through, Mike. You got.
I just like, and what's funny was because like it's so hard to get a pulse on these things because like first it came out and it was like, well, amazing Metacritic, everyone loved it. And
Right.
then there was like that big backlash and everybody was like, oh, we don't like it. Now it's Game of the Year stuff, and it's like anytime there's a fan poll for Game of the Year, it's like Last of Us Part 2 seems to easily win. I'm like, okay, so no, people do like this game.
I think
like,
Hades and Ghost of Tsushima are ahead of it in the fan vote for the Game Awards now.
I saw that. Ghost of Tsushima is interesting because
Right.
that's a game like when it came out, I was like, and I think I was saying, well, yeah, it's like an 85. It's a really good game. I like it. And then all of a sudden people were like, it's Game of the Year. I was like,
Right.
oh, is it?
Yeah, there's a lot of that, like where it's like, no, this is the best game of the year, and I'm, okay, I didn't know you felt that strongly about it. Okay, all
Yeah, I
right,
didn't know. Yeah, I mean, I liked it. I don't
yeah,
think it'd be on
nothing
my
wrong with
top
that.
10.
Yeah,
I I
I mean,
guess I'm
Hades
surprised
is
that there are a
definitely better,
lot of
but you know.
people. Yeah, I'm surprised there are a lot of people who didn't play a game they liked more than that.
Yeah, that's exactly. I think that's a good way of putting it, and that's
Right.
whatever. That's
Something against that game. I liked it a lot.
mhm,
I thought I liked it more than most people, to
mhm.
be honest. But I'm not. No, I'm not going to call it the game of the year.
Yeah,
Might even be like it might even be number. Nah, it may not be in my top 5, but it's not going to be on the bottom of my top 10. Like, yeah, I liked it more than any of the past Assassin's Creeds or anything. It's in terms of like a pretty traditional old style like open world game. I liked it quite a bit. It was one of my favorite one of those.
right. Yeah, I think to me it sounds like a lot of people who are like just not going to play Hades because it's an indie game, and like
Right.
it's a big Ghost of Tsushima like really nailed what it was going for. So, that's fine. They can like that. That's totally cool. And I think it might
Plus,
have a chance.
it's a Sony joint, and those are
Yeah,
popular.
yeah, exactly.
I guess so was Last of Us though, so I don't know.
Right, and I guess my surprise there was like that they weren't like splitting the votes so hard that they weren't number one, but
Yeah.
there's a lot of people who like those games. So.
I was like, well, Ori. I saw that Ori was at 10 at least. Like, well, at least it's charting.
Yeah, yeah. If it makes that cut, maybe it'll have a better chance. All right, Mike. I think we should get out of here. Why don't you tell people where they can find you on the internet?
Find me on Twitter at Tolkoto and check out my 90s Disney podcast, 90s Disney, at 90sdisney.com. Our new episode is about The Nightmare Before Christmas. So check that out.
I'm Jeff Grubb on Twitter. If you are listening to the audio version of this, you can go to youtube.com/Jeffrey Grubb to watch us live, watch the the VODs of these streams, or to catch some of my other videos. And then I'm streaming a little bit on Twitch now, twitch.tv/Jeff Grubb. I have a little bit more time now that my girls are getting a little bit older, and I was streaming some Astro there. But
wow, you might even ask me to play some games with you again.
yeah, maybe I could get you some time at night. Yeah, totally.
Yeah, remember when you had no time at all to play Fall Guys with me, and then you managed to find 200 hours to try to beat my Astros Playroom score? Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I get it. All right, I'm a bad person, Mike. I get it. Somehow I
Nick
win.
Turbo
I
sent
still feel like I'm
$2 real quick.
losing. What?
Nick Turbo sent $2. He wanted me to know that I can get Dragon Quest VIII digitally for $40.
He bought
And
the
I
physical
do know
version.
that. I do know that I want the physical version. Also, like the SD card I happen to have, my 3DS at the time, doesn't even have enough space for like I literally deleted everything that I could to see if I could get it on there, and I can't. So
Yeah.
I think I just if I'm going to get it, I'll get the physical.
Christian
version.
makes a good point. We should play Among Us because I've never played it. So
I play it with my friends, so I could just let you know next time we're doing it.
yeah, let me know, and
It's fun.
I'll see if I can get in there.
And
All right,
that's
everybody.
the thing, like you can't just get 2 people and like we're gonna play Among Us. And,
Right.
Like, fine. It's a whole thing. You
Yes,
need to-
totally. So let me know. Yeah,
it's very
cool.
fun.
Same to you. Anyone in chat wants to play Among Us? Let me know. I'll see if I can hop in there.
I guess that's true, right? Yeah, we could get something here.
Have a community thing.
Maybe we
going.
need do we need a GamesBeat besides Discord? I don't know.
Maybe we could do a channel in the GamesBeat thing because we're trying to get the GamesBeat Discord going for our events. So maybe that would make sense in there. We'll talk about it. All right, everybody. We're gonna get out of here. I'm gonna go check on my kids and make sure that they have not destroyed the house now that my wife has gone back to work. So thank you for listening. Until next week, we'll be back then. Have a good one. Take care of yourself. Goodbye.
Bye.